On an unassuming evening in 2011, the blaring of alarms echoed through a local 7-Eleven, heralding reports of an armed robbery. The influx of calls flooded the local police department, prompting a swift response. However, upon reaching the scene, law enforcement officers discovered an empty space devoid of the suspect. Expanding their search, they soon heard commotion emanating from a nearby house, leading them to believe it was connected to the incident. Lacking any other leads, the officers made a forceful entry and found themselves face to face with a familiar figure, an acknowledged heroin addict, seated with a firearm in hand. Without further evidence, they promptly arrested the man and transported him for interrogation. This intriguing figure was none other than Jeff Pearson, the individual responsible for the robbery. What transpired thereafter would be etched in history as one of the rare occasions when a man battling heroin withdrawals outsmarted law enforcement in their own game. It serves as a remarkable testament to the cunning and resourcefulness of a suspect when they manage to outwit the authorities. During the initial round of interrogation, Jeff displayed precisely the demeanor befitting his circumstances. Aware that the police lacked substantial evidence against him, he remained silent, refusing to provide any incriminating information. With this calculated silence, Jeff effectively conveyed his understanding that if the authorities had concrete proof, they would not be engaging him in conversation in the first place. Consequently, he was swiftly returned to his cell. However, just 2 hours later, Jeff found himself once again escorted to the familiar interrogation room, signaling the onset of the second round. At this point, Jeff, cognizant of his rights, has invoked his request for legal representation, firmly refusing to respond to any further questioning. Despite reaching this impasse, it becomes evident that the footage captured is only halfway through, and Jeff's capacity to defend himself and undermine the credibility of the police officer only intensifies as the recording progresses. As the situation grows increasingly dire, the detective's desperation becomes palpable. Realizing that time is running out, he abandons any semblance of sophisticated techniques or strategies aimed at extracting information from Jeff. Instead, resorting to a more direct approach, the detective adopts a tactic of intimidation by making false claims about possessing incriminating evidence that could secure Jeff's conviction. While one might expect the detective to leverage this supposed evidence to instill fear and elicit panic from Jeff, the reality unfolds quite differently. Rather than using the information as a means to coerce Jeff into divulging more details, the detective employs a feeble rhetoric. He asserts that due to Jeff's lack of cooperation, he in turn will withhold any assistance from Jeff. This flimsy tactic reflects the detective's increasing desperation, willing to employ deceptive strategies to elicit a response from Jeff, even if it means resorting to empty threats and unsubstantiated claims. Over the past few hours, the police subjected a visibly distressed individual to relentless questioning, callously denying him access to the legal prescription drug that could alleviate his suffering. They persisted in their inquiries regarding a crime for which they lacked any substantial evidence. Throughout this ordeal, Jeff maintained a remarkably composed demeanor, handling the situation with casual nonchalance. Seemingly unperturbed, he casually requested sodas and chocolate bars, exercising his rights in a meticulous manner. Recognizing the potential pitfalls of saying too much, Jeff remained resolute in his decision to remain silent. 12 hours later, the recorded documentation reveals that Jeff was released from custody, free to continue on his path. Reports indicate that following this experience, Jeff initiated a remarkable transformation in his life. He successfully broke free from the grip of heroin addiction and redirected his energy towards a new pursuit. Presently, he spends his time uploading content to the same YouTube channel, symbolizing his journey toward a brighter future.